don't have they don't have the outlets that people like Amazon do, and nobody's got an outlet like Google.
Yeah. Well, like I say, that's
You know, people are watching 1 billion hours a day. That is a television network.
But for me,
I wish there were more hours in the day, though.
I know.
for them to,
For me, there almost are.
Yeah.
when they jacked me up 10 more bucks, and they wouldn't cut any more deals, because usually you can go back to them and say, and they go, no, sorry. So it's again, what you were saying was true, that they're fighting for every darn dollar that they can get,
Right.
because they didn't want to cut me a deal. No, you've already had these 3 deals. That's the best we can do.
Right. So instead of losing $10 a month, they lost $170 a month or whatever you were paying. I don't know. It's none of my business.
No. I was paying $85 originally. They wanted me to go up to $95, and that was just for TV.
So
I don't have my internet with them. They go, well, you can get your phone, and we can give you a phone and TV. I don't want a home phone.
Well, we've had customers actually do that because the triple play service is cheaper, and just ignore the phone they give you.
Right.
No.
But see,
just another place for telemarketers to call you at. Just ignore it.
Yeah.
They wanted me to do the triple play as well. I said, look, I don't want the home phone.
Right.
I'm getting internet that's much faster and cheaper than you could sell it to me. So you're asking me to pay more to really get less.
Yeah.
No. No.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah. So, yeah. And because we do indeed have green light, because
no, you're not.
We could make more use of any one of those bundles. And everything would be just as fast and just as clean and just as easy. I don't wait to watch Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You see the little spinny thing as it loads up. It says 1, 2, 3, 89, and it starts to play.
Hike.
You basically, yes.
You just hit it, it goes.
And it goes. So, that would be much the same. The delay is the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Google, they can just throw more hardware at it.
Oh, yeah. They have the...
It's not a problem for them.
And I wonder if Netflix has a colo here in Rochester. One of the things that Netflix had to do to make things run faster like that is they basically replicate the entire Netflix library inside each major ISP.
Right.
And so then your stream doesn't have to come from California; it's coming from downtown.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how quickly you get what you watch depends on what you watch. The more common things may already be in their huge cache.
Mm-hmm,
so they start pretty quick. People like me who watch all the weird stuff, it takes us a while to get started.
Yep.
Yeah,
so someone is probably already watching that thing you want to watch.
Could you give me a Kleenex?
Oh.
Thanks.
No, I mean, like you said, the cable companies best be quite afraid, because right now everybody is relooking over the, cutting the cable.
Yep.
Because before, and I know we had this discussion, it had to be about 2-3 years ago, that we were sitting there saying, all right, if I add up all these different packages, it wound up being as much as my cable bill, and it's like, yeah, no, it's not worth it.
Yep. But it's very weird and very confusing right now. But we'll get there. Listen, we got to take a quick break. If you're on the line, please stay on the line. We will get to you absolutely when we come back with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you, 19 minutes after the hour. Soundbites, member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Soundbites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Contributions over the years made through our pledge drives have brought great programming to our listeners. Creating a legacy gift to benefit Jazz 90.1 builds a bridge from one generation of public radio listeners to the next. Please remember Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans, and join our Jazz 90.1 Legacy Society. You can also find out more by visiting www.jazz901.org.
If you want to support Jazz 90.1 a lot, but your budget says only a little will work, there is a way. It's called the Jazz 90.1 Jazz Membership. You can support Jazz 90.1 with a monthly gift of $10 or more, while enjoying the many great thank you gifts that we offer. Jazz 90.1 will deduct that amount automatically every month, and should your circumstances change, you can cancel at any time. Support Jazz 90.1 the way you want to, without bruising your budget, Jazz-O-Matically. For more information on becoming Jazz-O-Matic, call 966-5299 or pledge online at jazz901.org.
What's small, attractive, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 member card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the United States. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Get one by making a pledge of support at the $90.10 level and above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, you can call 966-5299 or make a donation online at jazz901.org.
Mike, my water broke.
Wait, really? I'll get the bag.
Mike, hurry!
Should I grab baby's first letters or counting is fun?
Now is not the time.
It's the best time. Research says read aloud from birth and, well,
Get me to the hospital right now.
It's never too early to start reading to your baby. 15 minutes a day will accelerate brain development. So read aloud 15 minutes. Every child, every parent, every day. Readaloud.org.
Hey, at our startup, my team and I move at the speed of tech 24/7. Bottom line, I just want the news that matters. So I turn to my local radio and TV stations. I want to hear from people who live and work in my town, people I know and trust. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Apply stop to opt out.
There's no better way to test drive a restaurant than to take them up on a dining incentive. And Jazz 90.1 has dozens of them for you to try. Test drive a new taste with the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card for your pledge of $90.10 or more to Jazz 90.1. It's good for the duration of your membership. Get the Enhanced Jazz 90.1 Member Card by calling 966-5299 or online at jazz901.org.
Swing all weekend, blues all week long. The Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues channel. Go to jazz901.org now. Click on the Swing and Blues button on the right-hand side, and instant swing and blues will be in your ears.
Sound Bytes on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frag Repairs in Rochester. Frag Repairs offers services ranging from PC cleanups and virus removal to custom builds and data recovery. Repairs are offered on-site in the customer's home or business with same-day service available. For more information, you may visit fragrepairs.com or call 210-3645. That's 210-3645.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
Is of course not over yet, and that is realized this morning with some lake effect snow around. And then as we head through the day, the lake flakes fade to flurries. We're left with some sunshine, but a bitey northwest wind. The high temperature 15 to 20. Tonight's mainly clear, very cold. The low temperature in the single digits south of the thruway. Low and mid-teens elsewhere. Sunshine gives way to increasing clouds on Sunday, not as cold. The wind comes in out of the south, the high in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got a few clouds out there, 15 degrees at the airport and 19 degrees here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Linda Wildman. Join me Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 25 minutes after the hour, we have the very patient Mario from Chi-Li, New York on the line. Hiya, Mario. What's up?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm having a problem playing a DVD movie on my Windows 10 laptop. I don't know what happened, but I put the DVD in, and I hear all these noises, and when I looked, it had a file like a .ts. I don't know anything about this stuff, so I was wondering if you could help me out.
All right, go ahead.
I would say, what DVD player software are you trying
Yeah.
to use?
Well, I don't even know, you know.
That's probably your problem.
Yeah, that's probably the problem because I use the VLC.
You need to install a player for that DVD.
Yeah, VLC. If you do a Google search for VLC,
VLC?
yes, it's a great video player, music player. It'll run everything. And it's compatible with the Windows 10 instead of getting into Windows 10 and using their playlist and all this other stuff.
Right.
Just download and install VLC. VLC will put an icon in your desktop that looks like a little traffic cone.
Okay.
And you just use that to play your DVD. You start the program up, say, yeah, go to the DVD, and there you will be.
Okay, now, but how do I make it default to this VLC?
Normally, when you're installing the software,
Uh-huh.
it will ask you, do you want this to be your default?
Oh, okay.
And just take the
Now,
time.
what that means is be careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read every screen and decide what you want to answer on that screen before you
Yes.
say next.
Okay.
Right, okay. And one more question, gentlemen, along the same lines. Is there a way to cast my pictures, you know, from my computer on the laptop? Now, if I go to Google Chrome, I can cast, but is there any way to cast your photos onto a smart TV?
You mean from inside Windows?
Yes.
You need some sort of casting hardware on the TV. The Google Chromecast, the Roku, the Apple TV.
Right, I have the Chromecast on already, but there's no option. When I go to my pictures, I'm not in Google. So how do I cast? That's my question.
Oh, you want to mirror the entire screen? Yeah.
Right, I just want to mirror the screen. Like,
That's built into the Apple TV. We're looking.
There
for
should be a
Chromecast.
connect. There should. Okay.
We're frantically Googling.
Well, first, you set it up under Chrome, which you've already done.
right.
Okay. So now to cast your laptop, your desktop rather,
Right.
you click that same cast button. All right.
But there's no cast button there.
Well, you will find it. You know those three little dots in the upper right corner?
You have to be in Google Chrome first.
Yeah,
Or
you start Google. Follow me along. You start Google Chrome.
Okay.
You use the cast button in the Google Chrome toolbar, or you have to hit those three dots, and you'll find cast in the drop-down menu.
Right. Yep. Okay.
And then under cast to, it'll say who do you want to cast to, and it'll show you your cast devices.
Right.
But up
right.
at the top in that blue area,
Right.
next to cast to, there's a down arrow.
Okay.
If you click that,
Down,
you can
okay.
change your source to cast desktop.
Okay.
So instead of casting the Chrome web page window, you can cast your desktop.
Right.
Okay.
And then and the next step, of course, is to select the device just like you normally would.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your help, gentlemen. You're very helpful.
There you go. Good luck. Have
And-
fun.
Thank you. Bye.
The alternative way to do that is run a cable between your computer and your television.
Right.
But nobody likes to do that.
Nobody likes to do that.
And just remember us next time at pledge time.
That's right. Coming right up. That's exactly right.
So that's one of the more popular features of the set-top boxes like Chromecast and Apple TV and Roku, is that the stuff you have on your computer or your phone you can show on the big screen. And so we joke about men used to have wallets filled with fold-out pictures of the family. You can only fit 20 or 30 of them in your wallet. So now when people come over to your house, you can cast it up to your big screen TV and force them to watch hundreds of pictures of the family.
Or you can just have them running in a slideshow in the
Yep.
background through the whole day.
Yep.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Chuck from Penfield, New York. What's up, Chuck?
Hello, gentlemen. Let me explain what happened. This morning I was running a backup, and it was taking forever, and I said, somebody's hung here. So I went down and looked, and it showed me the path to where it was folder it was trying to back up to. I shut the backup off and went in and started looking, and what it was trying to back up is a folder called Application Data that's under each user profile. And if I look under each user profile, there's a folder called Application Data, and there's also another one under Local Settings called Application Data.
Right.
And I started following that, and I found that under the Local Settings Application Data was another folder called Application Data, which had a whole list of folders within it, one of them being Application Data. And I followed this in about 20 levels.
Infinite nesting.
Yeah, and I'm going, this isn't right. I was tempted to just blow the whole thing away down below that first level. Then I got to thinking, well, wait a minute. If the registry and all these applications are looking for something somewhere nested down in there, and then they're not going to find it, and now the whole world's just going to all fall apart. So I thought I'd make a call before I started messing with stuff.
The biggest thing in that application data folder is usually your email files.
Okay.
And so usually you do want to back that up.
All right. Yep.
It shouldn't be infinitely nested like that, though.
Yeah, that's absolutely not. It should be one application data and all the information in it, but application data should not be one of the folders within that. And that's what's going down. My next step is through the week, I upgraded a disk drive and I cloned a drive, and it got screwed up a couple of times. I had to do this a couple of times to get it right. Something may have happened in there. I'm tempted to go back to last week's. I usually back up on Saturday mornings. To go back to last week's backup and see if I can find any nesting in that. Would you agree with me, though, that if I try to just blow that away down below that first level, I'm risking something in the registry or something that these apps might know about that
most definitely
going to get me into trouble? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are you in Windows 7 or 10?
Windows 7 Ultimate.
Oh, yeah. This is a known problem with Windows. 7 does it, 10 does it, probably XP does it, probably 95 does it, probably Windows 3.1 does it. But
see, this is the thing I've always said is as far as backing up in that, you always put, just back up your documents, pictures. Be selective.
That folder is under users.
Yeah, but no, but
I back up my documents. I have two disk drives. One has all my user data, and the other one has the system. But within the system, I like to back up stuff under application data because that.
No, you shouldn't.
Well, okay.
The only reason I say that, this is my personal opinion, because if something gets mucked up in that machine, which 10 to 1 odds is an indication that you need to do a clean install.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you're going to spend so many hours trying to chase your tail, finding that issue.
Yeah.
And backing it up, you're just,
Do you know what causes it? What the root cause is?
Yeah, it's bad code from Microsoft, frankly.
Oh, okay. So nothing that I did or nothing in the way that I managed my backups or anything.
Which one is it? Microsoft?
Microsoft.
Microsoft. It's probably Lenovo or maybe who knows, Osborne. What Microsoft recommends is that you do not delete that folder.
Yeah.
What's likely happening, and you'd have to look closely to see this, is those are not actual folders. They're links back to the original folder.
Right. Yep, I noticed that.
Right. So what Microsoft says, and believe me, this does not make sense, but apparently it works. You do not delete them, but you set the access to deny everybody. Now, what's the difference between deleting them and denying access to everybody? I don't know, but apparently Microsoft does.
Oh, geez. So if I look at that application folder...
Well, you want the first level, of course.
Right, yeah.
But from the second level down, deny access to everybody.
If I look at properties and where do I go to? Security, maybe?
Yeah.
See, here's the other issue, though. You're also running an operating system that's,
But this is going to grow forever then.
Well, not once you deny access.
Okay.
Then it can't make any new ones.
All
right. How is this different from deleting the stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the good news is, if it does cause a screw up, then you can just change that back. I guess that's the big thing.
Okay.
That's reversible. Deleting it is not.
Yeah, but still, no, he's still running the issue that this operating system is 3 generations old.
Yeah.
It doesn't support, it's not supported anymore. And it's
Windows 7 isn't support. I thought Windows 7 was still supported.
No.
It is supported if you are paying Microsoft thousands of dollars a month to do so. Are you?
Oh, fat chance.
No, then no, it is not supported for you.
That's why I made the blanket statement. So you are susceptible, especially, any of your information and everything else can be exploited.
Yeah.
By the right, spyware or malware. They could get in there and steal your information because Microsoft isn't patching any more holes in that one. And that's got as many holes as Swiss cheese.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, you can go ahead and do all this stuff, but you know what?
I tried Windows 10, and I had trouble with it, and I got to the point where it's like, guys, I'm not your beta site here, and I turned around and went back to 7.
Well, see, here's the other issue. I just had a system this past week I had been battling with for over 2 weeks, trying to get some software installed. And it turns out, after many hours of frustration back and forth with tech support and everything else, I did a little more and deeper investigation on myself and went in and looked at the manufacturer for that particular laptop, and they clearly state they do not recommend Windows 10 for that particular model. So no matter what we were going to do, there was no way that it was ever going to run Windows 10 correctly and some software. In this case, the software that he wanted to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's by model, by the way. So you might look up and say, oh, I have a Toshiba satellite. You look it up and it says, Toshiba satellites are fine. Not every model.
Right, you got to look it up because, yes, he got Windows 10 on it, and it loaded. Because they say you can see if you want to run Windows 10 on it. But
it didn't run properly.
You're right.
Yeah.
And this is the third one I've run into that certain models now won't, they'll
that's
put it
why
on
I'm
it.
still at Windows 7.
Yeah, they'll,
part of the reason.
Windows 10 will go on, but it won't run correctly.
Yeah. So anyway, back to my original. Basically, it's block everybody, set the priorities or whatever you want to call it. Block any access to those lower level application data folders. If that doesn't work, then I'm doomed. And have to reload the whole world again.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Bye.
We're going to be running up against that more and more as Windows 7 gets older and older, and people and as people don't buy new laptops. And believe me, I understand not just running out and buying a new laptop. I get that, but the fact is that your old operating system isn't going to cut it anymore. And the hardware is not going to be able to run the new operating system or the new software. And at some point, you got to fish or cut bait. I suggest a Chromebook, but that, of course, depends on everybody's preferences for those sorts of things. But I'll tell you what, I'll say it again, the price of poker keeps going up, and there's not much you can do about that. We're going to take another quick break. We will be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. Again, if you're on the line, please stay on the line. And we'll be back with a whole lot more sound bites on the truly great and truly grateful to be member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More sound bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Are you in the mood for a new clothing item from the Jazz 90.1 online store? Jazz 90.1 is currently stocked with short and long sleeve t-shirts, polos, sweatshirts, sweatpants, and more. Visit the Jazz 90.1 online store and see all the great items available so you can tell the world, tastefully, that you are a proud Jazz 90.1 listener. Visit the Jazz 90.1 online store today at jazz901.org.
Why not let your favorite radio station treat you to 2-for-1 dining opportunities throughout the Rochester area? Make a pledge of $90, 10 cents or more, and you'll receive the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card, good for the duration of your membership, and very good for 2-for-1 dining incentives in dozens of restaurants. Go on, give in to dining out and celebrate with a 2-for-1 steak dinner, sushi, or even Italian on us, Jazz 90.1, with more of the food that feeds your ears every day. Call 966-5299 or go online to jazz901.org and pledge $90.10 or more to member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is Rob Linton, station manager of Jazz 90.1. Annual membership contributions and business underwriting keep our programming on the air. The future growth and excellence of our station depends on our ability to also build a permanent base of support through an active and successful legacy gift program. Please continue your gift past a lifetime by including Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans, and join us in building a legacy of giving to support public jazz radio in Rochester. For more information on planned giving, you may visit jazz901.org or call us at 966-2660. Thank you.
As a Jazz 90.1 listener, you have the ability to leave a lasting gift to the jazz community. By making a planned gift, you can support Jazz 90.1 for many years to come. For more information, contact your financial advisor or call 585-966-2660. You can also find out more about planned giving by visiting www.jazz901.org.
Hi, Vicki. How's your knee doing?
It feels better, doctor. Those painkillers worked great. I was hoping to get some more.
We're being very careful with prescription painkillers. Let's continue with therapy and off-the-shelf anti-inflammatories for now.
Prescription painkillers are America's newest epidemic, causing abuse and addiction for millions. The smaller the dose prescribed and taken, the better. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons and the Orthopedic Trauma Association. Visit orthoinfo.org/prescription safety.
Soundbites on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frag Repairs in Rochester. Frag Repairs offers services ranging from PC cleanups and virus removal to custom builds and data recovery. Repairs are offered on-site in the customer's home or business with same-day service available. For more information, you may visit fragrepairs.com or call 210-3645. That's 210-3645.
And now your Jazz 90.1 weather.
Winter is, of course, not over yet, and that is realized this morning with some lake effect snow around. And then as we head through the day, the lake flakes fade to flurries. We're left with some sunshine, but a bitey northwest wind. The high temperature 15 to 20. Tonight's mainly clear, very cold. The low temperature in the single digits south of the thruway. Low and mid-teens elsewhere. Sunshine gives way to increasing clouds on Sunday, not as cold. The wind comes in out of the south, the high in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got a few clouds out there, 17 degrees out at the airport and 21 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Rick Petrie. Please join me Tuesday nights from 9 to midnight for North Star Sounds on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 43 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. And Steve wanted to remind everybody about the stream.
Yeah, the live YouTube video stream is up and running, but unfortunately, YouTube doesn't tell you that anymore. I don't know why.
At least with this piece of software.
Yeah, well, it's YouTube itself. It used to go live immediately. So if you go to the Soundbites website, at the very top of the page, the first post is YouTube live stream link. I can't talk either today. And that will take you to the live stream page, so you can watch the live stream. It does look like that URL changes every time I start the video manager, so we'll update that link every week.
And I will try to remember to tweet it.
Yeah. And then
if you're following Soundbites at sound_bites, that's bites with a Y, you will follow us, and we'll put that link up.
Yep. And after the fact, the show just shows up in our playlists as a recorded show, but it's not saying, Soundbites is streaming live now, like it did the first couple of weeks. We were using YouTube streaming. It doesn't make any. If anyone from Google's listening,
you're right.
How can we get it to say we're streaming live now? Even to subscribers, it doesn't say that we're streaming live.
I don't know
and the
why.
show doesn't show up until after the streaming stops, and then it shows up as a show later.
Yeah.
So you have to go to that straight URL yourself.
Who knows? Who knows? All right, we are talking to Matt from Buffalo, New York. Hi, Matt. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
It's all good. How are you?
Pretty good. I just want to encourage everybody. I traded in my modem back to Time Warner Cable. They were charging me $10 lease fee plus $5. It was like a $15 a month charge. All right, just to have the cable modem. And I did the research and I looked up online, and there's a whole list of good modems you could buy. And you could save yourself a lot of money if you buy your own modem rather than, keep theirs.
Yep.
And that's what I wanted to say.
And many times the modem you buy yourself will operate a lot faster than whatever the Time Warner guy pulled out of his bag.
What you want to use is a DOCSIS 3 modem, DOCSIS 3. And I think most of what you buy these days is 3.0, but I think
3.1
is available, or it will be. Yeah.
One of the tricks, and I'm going to post the link, is that you need to use a Time Warner approved cable modem.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll claim it won't work. And I'm going to post the link of the approved modems, which is pretty much all of the cable modems that are out now. Zoom and Aris are the two most popular brands, and their boxes even have a Time Warner logo on them because they know that's what people are using them for.
Right.
Well, I got a Netgear.
Yeah, they make nice products.
Yeah, it's really good, and it was nice to take it back and say, I'm switching mine in, and I'm keeping this one, and people could save themselves a lot of money, when they do the research.
Yep. All right, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Appreciate it. That's a good tip from Matt. A lot of people are paying $10 a month for a modem.
And plus $5 a month if you have their Wi-Fi.
Right. And so if you replace all that with your own modem, now make sure it does everything you want it to do. There are some cable-only modems, then some cable and Wi-Fi modems, and cable and Wi-Fi and phone modems. So make sure you get the one you need.
We generally, I'm going to put on my Mac Av hat for a minute. We generally recommend you separate your cable modem and your wireless router. The cable modem standards don't change very fast, but the wireless standards do. So you'll probably replace your wireless router much more frequently than you do your cable modem.
Right.
So having two separate boxes makes them a little easier to change separately.
I want to replace it with a green light one.
I know you do. You're still going to need a router of your own. The box is like this big, and it only has one connection on it, and you plug it into your own modem. Yeah. You want to have something that's super fast. Of course, you want to have something that does at least 100 megabits.
Well, I can get my other half to agree with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I bet you could.
Anytime, you can go faster. Well, as you know, it's my past history.
Right.
I've always been able to say, well, if we do this will go down, just like back with Lori when she came to me and said, oh, the phone bill's more than the mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Something's got to give. Okay, honey, we'll just get a faster modem.
Yeah, there you go.
It worked.
It worked. And it certainly got me up early the next morning.
Dave forgot to go to bed again.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I got the call. But yeah. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Paul from Brighton, New York. What's up, Paul?
Yeah, hi. I guess I've been battling some malware problems for a long time now. What I have found is I went into the Windows System 32 drivers, etc. Folder. There should be a host file there, and there is not. And
it's not under Windows System 32. It's under Windows System 32 drivers etc.
That's what I said. Yeah.
And not every machine has a hosts file.
Okay. Well, I'm working. My problem is on my laptop. My desktop system, has the host file, so I was comparing it to that.
Right.
And so the problem is I've got malware. I run malware bytes, and it occasionally flags that I have this Trojan. I called in about it last week. And I'm trying to avoid going to a reputable dealer, as you suggested.
Right.
I'm trying to save some money here.
Right.
So you're saying I would not necessarily have a host file on my system?
Right, and generally you don't need a host file on your system.
Right. Not every system has a host file. And it depends on 100 million factors as to whether or not you have one and what it's in it and blah, 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 blah. Basically, for everybody else, What the host system is, look, there's a system called DNS, Domain Name Services.
The Internet Phone Book.
It's the Internet Phone Book. Basically, when you type in soundbytes.org, your computer doesn't have any idea what to do with that because it only understands numbers. So what it does, it goes out to a domain name server and says, hey, I have the name soundbytes.org. Where is that? And it sends back and says, oh, that's at 50 dot whatever it is. And so then you can then go to that spot.
Yeah, an IP address.
Right, it's an IP address. Yeah. Now, one of the things you can do is if you have a host file, it will look there first. And in fact, one of the pranks we used to pull on people is to what a host file contains is an IP address, blank, which is either a space or a tab, and then a domain name. So if you were to type in, for example, whatever it is, google.com, when you type in google.com, it looks in there first and then goes to that site and brings up google.com. So one of the pranks we used to pull on people is to create a host file for them that had all the wrong URLs compared to their IP addresses, which would screw people up. But many machines don't have host files at all. And you can edit the host file. You can put what you want in the host file.
So would it pay for me to copy or create a host file for this system?
Well, I don't necessarily know that it's going to solve a problem for you.
What could be happening, and probably isn't in your case, is the malware software creates a host file and changes google.com to be malicious website and changes facebook.com to be malicious website. And so your computer looks in the host file first when you type google.com and goes to the malicious site. So the fact that you don't have a host file is good because that means the malicious software didn't do that.
Right. So still, the system does run terribly slowly sometimes unless I keep reboot it. And then
check your activity monitor and see what processes are running and if there's some process using most of the CPU when you're not using it.
Right. And in addition, of course, to a couple of things. First, the host file only helps with resolving domain names. So if what you see is a lot, and I mean a lot, of resolving host file down in the corner, or looking up, depending on what browser you're using, down in the corner, when you go to a website, then a host file can help with that. But that's the only thing it can help with. So if your machine is slow for another reason, or if indeed your machine is slow when you're not on the internet, that's not what it is. I mean, when you're not using a web browser. The only thing that it speeds up is a web browser looking up addresses.
And sometimes the DNS server that you put into your computer, almost everyone uses their ISP's DNS server.
Right.
There are faster DNS servers that might work even better. Google's is 8.8.8.8.
And 8.8.4.4.
Easy to remember. And GRC has a DNS benchmark program where it will look at different DNS servers around the internet and see which one might be faster for you to use. But as Nick said, if that's not the reason your computer is slow, then it wouldn't help you any.
Okay, well, the search is going to continue then.
Yeah. Check in the what do they call it? It's not the activity monitor, is the Mac. What is it? Task Manager.
Task
in
Manager.
Windows.
Task Manager.
Right, and that will show you all the processes. Make sure you're set to all processes, not just my processes. Okay. And that will tell you if something is eating up your CPU power, preventing you from doing what you want to do when you want to do it.
All right, thanks.
Sure.
All right, good luck.
That's always tricky. My computer's running slow. Okay. Well, your hard drive is full. How's that? Okay, that's a problem.
Right. But people don't know, and it's hard. It's hard to give it any particular reason, but you have to know what things do. And the DNS is strictly for looking up that name and associating it with an IP address.
And that can make web pages load slower, because many web pages have hundreds of DNS lookups to get the ads and the pictures and the articles and whatnot. And so if you happen to be using a DNS server that's slow, loading a web page could be slow. But it wouldn't affect the rest of the computer. It would only affect loading web pages.
Right.
And in fact, every now and then there's a DNS attack Is that what happened with Amazon S3 the other day? No, they took off their servers accidentally.
Yeah, they fumble-fingered
a command.
Command, and they screwed it up.
But every now and then there's an attack on a DNS server where it takes out half of the most popular internet websites because they're all using that DNS. And so if you can make that DNS server run really slow, then people can't get to websites.
Right. And very, very many people are using Google's now. All right, back to the phones. We got a few minutes left. We can talk to Sherry from Chi-Li, New York. What's up, Sherry?
Hi. My question is about a Chromebook. I was thinking about buying one.
Yeah.
But I play Pogo games, and when I'm playing them now on my notebook, I can't play them in Chrome.
Right.
So is that going to hurt me on a Chromebook?
Yes. Yes. Pogo games still use Flash. Flash is a horrible product. The problem is that Adobe I can't say anything polite about it because I'm on the radio.
Some of their
I can't use the language I want to use.
Some of their games have shifted to Java,
which is just as bad.
But yeah,
right. The problem becomes the fact that Chromebooks don't use Flash because Flash is so ridden with holes.
Antiquated.
And security problems, and it's just ancient. Adobe can't fix it fast enough, and so they have banned it essentially. And so Chromebooks will not, cannot, and never have run Flash. So unfortunately, if you mostly spend your time on things like Pogo games, you cannot use a Chromebook. I'm sorry.
Unless you find a different gaming website to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't come up with any close to Pogo, so oh well.
Right.
All right.
Well, one of the big things we've seen is instead of going to a website to play games, you go to the Chrome store and download the game for free. And so you can play bridge and euchre and all the different card games.
Yep.
You're just not on a website; you're in an app.
Right. Well.
And very shortly, the Chromebook will be able to run any Android app. You know, if you get one of the newer Chromebooks, any app that you're running on your phone or tablet, Android-wise, will be able to run on the Chromebook.
Right. When is that coming out?
It's not yet. Matter of fact, Nick and I were trying to play with. I brought my Chromebook in because I just updated to the latest version 5.7, and I thought maybe I was losing it. And him and I were both looking at it, and it's not out yet. They did say March, April timeframe, though. I do believe when I saw it last year.
And also, do Chromebooks have a touch screen or
Some of them do, yes.
Yes.
Not all of them. But nowadays, you can definitely buy Chromebooks with touch screens. You can also buy them that the screen will fold all the way around on the back and become a tablet.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Right. Those are just starting to come out. I'd say be patient for another couple of weeks before we see the ones that should be coming out in mid-March, end of March, beginning of April.
Oh, okay, great.
And there's a website called Game House that has a lot of online games as well. Which I found an article listing the 16 best alternatives to Pogo.
Game House?
Yep.
All right.
Gamehouse.com?
Gamehouse.com and BigFishGames.com. I'll
He'll
post
both of
this
those.
link. Yep.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We are going to take a slightly longer break. You have wasted an entire hour of your life with this nonsense. But we're going to do another hour of it, so don't go anywhere. Well, you could hit the refrigerator or wherever you hit during the longer break. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and you. It is 59 minutes after the hour. It is Sound Bytes. It is the truly great and solely member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you on the other side.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester.
A public service of the Greece Central School District.
Jazz 90.1.
On Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
Washington in an uproar. President Donald Trump is accusing former President Barack Obama of having telephone lines in Trump Tower wiretapped during the presidential campaign. Correspondent Athena Jones says Mr. Trump hasn't offered any proof.
We are still waiting for word from the Trump's White House communications team about what he meant, what he was referring to. Was he referring to a report? Is there evidence that he can offer? We have stressed over and over again that these are baseless allegations, that the president offered no proof.
And Bob Costantini tells us we now have reaction from the Obama camp.
The former president's national security spokesman Ben Rhodes taking to Twitter himself, quote, "No president can order a wiretap. Those restrictions were put in place to protect citizens from people like you."
Iran has reportedly conducted a successful test firing of a sophisticated Russian-made air defense system. Russia delivered the S-300 system to Iran last year after sanctions over Iran's nuclear program were lifted. I'm Michael Toscano.
Do you know the score regarding your personal finances? Your credit score, that is? The National Foundation for Credit Counseling wants you to get in the game, know your credit score, and understand how to improve it. The NFCC can help request your credit report and explain what the numbers, terms, and abbreviations all mean. Their certified counselors can also advise you on sound financial practices that can help improve your score. For more information about credit reports, call the NFCC at 1-800-388-2227. This has been a public service message from the NFCC.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Human trafficking is modern-day slavery, and it happens in our own communities. Victims can be any gender, age, or race. Join the Department of Homeland Security's Blue Campaign to learn how to recognize and report this heinous crime. Visit our website at www.dhs.gov/bluecampaign. That's www.dhs.gov/bluecampaign. Your second look could be their second chance.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
Jazz 90.1 invites you to a party. Join us on Friday, March 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. for live jazz by Jimmy Highsmith Jr., great refreshments, conversation, and tours of the Jazz 90.1 studios. While you're here, you can renew your membership or become a brand new member of Jazz 90.1. If you pledge your financial support at the party, you'll receive a special bonus thank you gift. Jazz 90.1's listener party will be held at our studios at Greece Olympia School at 1139 Maiden Lane in Greece. Admission is free, and we'll see you then.
Are you planning a vacation? Take the great savings you receive with your member card with you. Order a travel card to enjoy 2-for-1 benefits while you're away. Visit membercard.com/jazz901 to order travel cards and pay just a small fee to cover shipping and handling. You can also use the Member Card mobile app to take advantage of benefits at your destination. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Become a member today at the $90.10 level and above to receive yours.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at bytes.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 4 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes, and we have Mark from Greece on the line. Hi, Mark. What's up?
Good afternoon. I got a question and a possible solution for somebody.
Oh, good.
Possible solution, a gentleman that wanted to cast pictures to his TV.
Yeah.
if he's got a Chromecast and he uploads his pictures to Google, he can use the Google app
That's true.
to cast the pictures right from, the Google Photos.
Right.
Which is pretty easy. Or another solution is, he says he has a smart TV. He's probably got a USB connection on it. He can put his pictures on flash drives, and most of these TVs will run slideshows for you.
That's absolutely true. Good points. Thanks.
And that's fairly easy to do too.
Yep. Good points.
So there's possible two solutions for him if they work for him.
Yep.
The other thing is, I have a question. A few weeks back, you mentioned about apps like on your phone that you can't uninstall because they come with the phone.
Yep.
Okay. You're familiar with CCleaner, obviously.
Yep.
They have a mobile version, and I noticed in there that it lists all your system apps and does allow you to uninstall them. But it comes up with this warning that says, uninstalling system apps can, cause problems, blah, 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 blah. What is your take on something like that?
Well, I completely agree with them. The problem with a lot of these built-in apps, what we call bloatware, is that they're in firmware. And so you cannot delete them.
Mm-hmm.
You can sometimes disable them. In fact, if you go into your Android phone and go through it all, you can disable some of them. But I have a problem with, for example, Samsung's calendar. It keeps coming up and saying, you're not using me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep saying, yeah, I'm using Google's calendar. Shut up. And then it goes away for a couple of days, and then it comes back. But there's no way to remove it from the system because it's in firmware.
Okay. Well, because like I said, if I'm in CCleaner now and I go to System Apps and I go to, say, let me see, there's a CNN app on here on my Samsung.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I go in and I tell it to uninstall, and it says, hang on, removing system apps can cause issues. Before you know what you're doing when using this feature, it says continue, then it will allow you to uninstall it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that would be safe, or do you think I should avoid it?
You could do it, but then probably when you turn around, the system's going to update the operating system.
Have a backup just in
It'll
case.
put it back there.
Okay.
Right. And in addition, I agree. You don't know from one phone system to another what will be safe and what will not be safe. Because I don't know how they installed all that stuff on your machine, whether it's actually in firmware and cannot be removed, if there are hooks into the firmware, and if you leave the hooks dangling, you've got a problem, or if it's perfectly safe to remove. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
All I know is my Google phone, that's one thing I love about it, didn't come with all that bloatware on it.
You got the Pixel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pixel XL, and it came just about bare. You have to load just about everything that you want on it other than the Chrome. The Chrome browser was there, and I put on the Google, calendar program in the mail.
Right.
And
theoretically, there's a version 2 of the Pixel phone coming out this year, and I'm going to wait for that. Save up my shekels.
There you go. But
See
it
what
is,
happens.
the camera and everything else, I can't say enough good things about the phone. And like you don't have to put up, I don't have to put up with all the bloatware, and delete it and then
Right.
turn around and have it come back.
Right.
That's
Right.
what's going to happen, Mark.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And speaking of Samsung, did you see the new commercials they're running for their toughest safety battery testing ever?
Yeah.
Why weren't you doing that before, I guess?
So, we've spent a lot of time trying to find new battery technology. There's a new battery technology that charges super fast, has a higher energy density than any other battery ever, and doesn't use any sort of liquid electrolyte, so it can't short out. It was made by the guy who invented the lithium battery, and he's 90 plus years old.
Yep. Did you watch that battery thing with David Pogue on Nova that we were talking about on
No,
Second
I've got
Life?
it on my list of things to watch,
They
and
talk
I've been
about
actually
that.
working.
The lithium battery problem originally was lithium anode, and it reacted too well, so they had to make a lithium ion, which basically it's a checkerboard of lithium. So
Basically slows it down.
Slows it down, right? But then it's still it's like a growing crystal, and so as your battery charges and discharges, these little crystals grow, and the little arms will eventually reach over and touch the cathode. So the anode and cathode will touch, short out, and explode. And that's why the batteries explode and the electrolytes are flammable. So there's a later generation of a lot of the laptops are using now called lithium polymer, and it uses a different type of filler in the lithium atoms. There's a new battery coming, and the Nova episode with David Pogue talked about it. It's lithium polymer electrolyte.
Yeah.
And it's non-flammable. It doesn't explode. The little crystals don't grow, so it works much more efficiently. And now we can go back to pure lithium and not lithium ion. And so the batteries are going to be able to get smaller and have a much higher density and virtually eliminate the exploding battery problem with this polymer electrolyte. And the guy that invented this, I forget what school it was at, that's going to be the next huge battery revolution.
Yeah. So I'm on our, before we get back to the phones, I'm on our Twitter feed. And, it suggests who you should follow.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests I follow Bill Gates. What do you think?
Nice.
Where are you following him to?
Oh, exactly. But I think I'm going to follow him. The Soundbites Twitter feed is now following Bill Gates.
Maybe come on as a guest?
Yeah, maybe he'll come on as a guest. That would be good.
Donate to the station?
Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Make him become a member.
Exactly. Make him buy the station.
Yeah.
And just let us run it.
Yeah.
That would, no. We already have Rob. I don't know if we would do it better.
Well, on Second Life last week, we talked a little bit about one of the things that he says recently is that we should tax robots as if they were people. Because one of the problems situation we're having now is Social Security is being defunded by not enough people paying into it, and the problem of lost jobs. And so if you treat your robot as an employee and pay into the system as you would a real employee, that might help.
Makes sense.
And the shift in job training now, the robots can do all the menial labor. And so we were talking about this at work too. When I was a kid, I remember all of my father's friends complaining about piecework on the assembly line.
Right.
And everyone hated that, and that's why it moved away in the 80s and 90s and went overseas.
Right.
And now we don't have the capability to do that anymore, and that's why a lot of the things are assembled overseas. And plants that are being built here have a lot of automation in it. Governor Cuomo talked about that in one of his speeches recently, where he went to an engine assembly company in Lackawanna, and it's robots everywhere. And every 20 feet, there's a guy programming the robot, or a person, I should say. And so retraining and training for the jobs that will exist is all the high tech stuff. It's the menial labor's gone. The joke, when I was a kid at least, was we'll always need people to dig ditches. No, now we need people that know how to run the backhoe.
You're right.
That digs the ditch. And so the low income menial jobs have all moved overseas, and it's the sort of the complaint about bringing manufacturing back here that most people don't want to do that.
Right.
And it's easier to sit back.
Well, people want you to. Companies don't want to. And that is also an issue. We're seeing one of the unintended consequences of raising the minimum wage is that people are now being replaced with more and more automation.
Mm-hmm. And companies are holding back on hiring more people because
they want automation.
Well, because the minimum wage has gone up, and so now their exposure is higher. And a lot of people don't realize this, that your job at the company you work for, say your salary is $20,000, you cost the company $40,000.
Right.
By the time you add taxes and benefits and Social Security payments and disability payments, vacation payments. And so raising the minimum wage, that was one of the
office space, electricity, blah, 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 blah.
That was one of the big criticisms when they talked about raising the minimum wage, is that companies just won't hire more
No.
people because they can't afford it.
Right.
If anything, it could cost, if it was forced upon them, could actually cause more layoffs.
Right.
But then on the other side, people working minimum wage, you need to work 2 or 3 minimum wage jobs to
Right.
afford the apartment you're trying to rent.
Right. Well, we are never going to solve that
It's a
problem.
double-edged sword.
But maybe we can solve problems for Pat from Batavia. Welcome, Pat. What's up?
Well, actually, Nick, I'm here to help you solve one of your problems.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Pat. Go.
Steve, I pulled up the link at the top of the page. It's really funny because I'm watching your video or watching the live on YouTube, and it's out of sync with our conversation, so I'm going to look away.
Yeah.
I noticed that it is unlisted, which means that the only way you'll be able to see it is if you have the link.
Right.
And that's why it doesn't search.
Okay. So
So
where
what
do
you
I
have
make
to
it listed?
do, and I can't tell you, are you still using the OBS software?
Yes, OBS with YouTube Live.
Yeah, I think in the YouTube settings, there is an option for how you want it to be public or private or unlisted.
I've seen that after the fact, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I see under stream options, it says enable DVR, and it says make archive unlisted when complete.
Which is unchecked. So it's not an unlisted
Right.
Stream.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, last week's show still hasn't shown up in the Soundbites channel, which makes me think that it's still unlisted.
Well, thanks. That's something to check on. We'll definitely will.
All right, we'll check on that. Thanks.
Yeah, look under in the YouTube and Video Manager when you're looking at the old shows, but that only helps the past. And until you figure where that box is to check for the future ones, it's still going to come out unlisted. So you just have to, if you post the link at the top. The other thing, Nick, real quick,
Yeah.
Have you tried the Chrome Vox with your eyes closed?
No.
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 So that'll be my challenge.
Yep. Let us know how that goes.
All right, no, I want you to do it.
Oh, I'll give it a shot. I absolutely will. Thanks.
Fair enough. All right, and I will too then.
Thanks,
Okay?
Pat. Yep.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Have fun. Yeah, Chrome Vox is a built-in...
I found it.
Oh.
Under advanced options.
There you go.
Public.
The Chrome Vox is a built-in feature in the Chrome books or Chrome boxes that is essentially a screen reader. Now you have to you have to enable it, but once you've enabled it, you're good to go. So that's pretty cool, and it's built in. And once you in settings, you have to enable it. But once you've enabled it, then I forget what the keystroke is, but I can find it in just a moment. Chrome Vox. Control Alt Z toggles the Chrome Vox, which is spoken feedbacks on and off. It worked.
No, it shows in our stream as a live broadcast.
Excellent.
How did that? Thank you. What was his name again?
Pat from Batavia.
Pat from Batavia. Thank you. I don't know how they got set to unlisted, but now
Who knows?
Now it's listed.
Now it's listed, so we're back online and it's all good. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. You're okay. I don't care what anybody says. This is great. This is great.
I'm gonna go back and check the previous ones to see if those are still. You said you couldn't see the previous ones.
Yeah, it's the previous one. Well, maybe
Well,
just whatever. But yeah, we'll see. All right, excellent. Very nice. Very, very nice. Looks like we're going to take another break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It is 19 minutes after the hour. We are Soundbites, and we are the truly great and truly grateful to be member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Soundbites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
The Greece Central School District and Greece Arcadia Middle School present the musical Crazy for You on stage March 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. and March 5th at 2 p.m. Performances take place in the Greece Arcadia Auditorium located at 130 Island Cottage Road in Greece. Tickets are available at all Wegmans and at the door.
Slap that bass. Slap it till it's dizzy. Slap that bass.
Soundbites on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frag Repairs in Rochester. Frag Repairs offers services ranging from PC cleanups and virus removal to custom builds and data recovery. Repairs are offered on-site in the customer's home or business with same-day service available. For more information, you may visit fragrepairs.com or call 210-3645. That's 210-3645.
Contributions over the years made through our pledge drives have brought great programming to our listeners. Creating a legacy gift to benefit Jazz 90.1 builds a bridge from one generation of public radio listeners to the next. Please remember Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans and join our Jazz 90.1 Legacy Society. You can also find out more by visiting www.jazz901.org.
Are you planning a vacation? Take the great savings you receive with your member card with you. Order a travel card to enjoy 2-for-1 benefits while you're away. Visit membercard.com/jazz901 to order travel cards and pay just a small fee to cover shipping and handling. You can also use the Member Card mobile app to take advantage of benefits at your destination. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Become a member today at the $90.10 level and above to receive yours.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route.
I am not fast.
Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Slow batteries.
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by City Newspaper. On stands each Wednesday, City Newspaper offers investigative journalism focusing on local, community, and national matters, as well as full-scale restaurant reviews, including information on new restaurant and cafe openings in our area. For more information, you may visit rochestercitynewspaper.com or find them on many newsstands throughout the city.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Winter is, of course, not over yet, and that is realized this morning with some lake effect snow around. And then as we head through the day, the lake flakes fade to flurries. We're left with some sunshine, but a biting northwest wind. The high temperature 15 to 20. Tonight's mainly clear, very cold. The low temperature in the single digits south of the thruway. Low and mid-teens elsewhere. Sunshine gives way to increasing clouds on Sunday, not as cold. The wind comes in out of the south, the high in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got a few clouds out there, 17 degrees at the airport and 22 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is Mike Velasquez. Join me every Monday from 8 p.m. to midnight on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 24 minutes after the hour, we have Ed from Rochester, New York on the line. What's up, Ed?
Hi, guys. I just want to ask a question that maybe sounds stupid, but on the desktop, in the upper left-hand corner, there's an arrow that says left to right, and you just click on it with your mouse, and the page goes forward or backwards. On an Android cell phone I got, is that possible? Reason being, I was typing an email within somebody's page yesterday, and the phone kind of slipped, and I grabbed it by the button there, that the right-hand side where the arrow goes back, and it was one of these oops things. When I tried to get it to go back to the other page, and it did, but it was blank. I had to start all over again. I don't know if there's this is a Galaxy Luna. it's not a $700 phone. Maybe you got to buy one of those, so it'll do it. But can you do the same thing on the phone?
Well, you
Page
do something
download
similar.
on the desktop.
You can do something similar. If you now don't try anything yet, just listen to this whole thing. If you were to put your finger on the page itself and sort of pull down, it reloads the page. But if up at the top where the address is, if you were to pull down on that, it shows a list of all the pages you've been on.
Right.
And so you can kind of scroll through those and see and pick a different page.
You mean it's that's the open tabs you're saying? Is that the same thing where you have
It's
to
essentially, yeah. It's essentially like open tabs, only instead of actually being open tabs, it's a series of pages, one behind the other, and you can pick the one you want.
Okay, so you just would X out the ones until you got the one you want, and then you didn't have to start all over with another email and try to remember what you wrote. Is that correct?
Well, theoretically, I mean, it depends on 100 circumstances, but yes.
Oh,
And if
okay.
your
I
email
thought,
program
I looked in drafts, I thought
auto-saves.
maybe it would automatically put in drafts or in spam or trash. Wasn't in any of those. And I thought, oh, geez, I got to start all over again.
Yeah, it probably
so
depends on the
so
email
you
program.
You just pull it down from the top, and it'll show you all the tabs that are open, essentially, correct?
Yes.
Okay, my man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have fun. Yeah, there's a bunch of different things that you can do that are kind of hidden on any phone operating system unless you know what you're looking at. Mainly because you just don't have the same amount of real estate and the not the paradigms, but the way you do things.
The quarters
are different. The what?
And that the paradigms, the quarters.
The quarters, the pair of quarters. 2 bits.
Yep. One of the things I've always
Shaving
found
haircut.
annoying in sometimes in Gmail is Gmail's really nice about saving drafts for you, but sometimes I'll end up with dozens of drafts of the same message, and sometimes it doesn't delete the draft when you actually send the message. So I'll go back and see there's a draft in my folder from a week ago. Did I really send that, or did it not send? Because I thought I sent it a week ago.
Right.
And it wasn't deleted from the drafts folder when it should have been.
Right, we're seeing that a lot too, and it's no system is perfect, and I do get that, and it annoys us when they're not. But no system is perfect because oddly, and this comes as a shock to many people, they're written by humans, and so the humans often have an issue that can't be solved as easily as one might like. But
I, for one, welcome the coming of our robot overlords.
Right, because once they
everything will be logical and straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, all right, here's CCleaner. I'm looking at that CCleaner program now. Oh, look at that. It tells me how much storage I've used, how much RAM I have left. This is nice. I can analyze my device. Very cool. Very, very cool. I like this. Thanks, Mark. This is a good show. I never thought to look if CCleaner was available for the phone. Very cool.
Nice. All kinds of new stuff.
Oh yeah, constantly.
People often ask me how I learn things, and how do I know all this stuff? Well, part of it is the show, and people call in and tell us. There's 2 things we learned today: that unlisted button and CCleaner for Android.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing.
It's a good week for us.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. More and more things, like I was saying before. I see more and more laptops come into the shop than I do desktops.
Yep.
Because everybody is going to the laptop. They want the portability.
Even though they don't need portability.
Yeah, but
Right.
they still like the convenience to having something small and they can move around if they want to. Take it out to the front porch or upstairs or wherever they're going through their wireless networks because, they're getting so cheap as to buy a big box and be tied to it there that you got to sit in a chair.
Yep.
If you want to grab your laptop and go sit in the couch.
But let me tell you 2 things. First, be wary of cheap laptops.
Oh, definitely.
There are 2 things about cheap laptops. One is their hardware is cheap, which means that it may not last you the 5 or 7 or 10 years you tend to keep a laptop. And secondly, many cheap laptops will give you an extremely unsatisfactory experience under Windows 10. Windows 10 requires a minimum of 4 gig of RAM, and it requires a minimum of a 2 gigahertz processor.
And you should really double those.
And you should double those. And if you're looking at a minimum size system, it might run great with Cloud Ready, or it might run great with Linux, but it is going to run like junk with Windows 10, but everybody's going to want to put Windows 10
And the
on
other
it.
thing with those shared, those small, cheaper laptops is that they share the memory with the video card. Instead of having a dedicated graphics card, it takes some of the memory that's in the system to use that to do all your video and surfing and everything else as far as the video part.
That's
of it.
right. And that's why I often suggest to people, you buy a desktop to put all your big stuff on.
Mhm.
Because why are you spending that $300 or $400 extra for stuff you're just for the portability?
Yep.
Right? And then if you want something to carry around, buy a Chromebook.
Mhm.
Well, I can't use Photoshop on it. Do you really go sit in a park and run Photoshop? Or do you sit at your desk and run it anyway?
Yeah.
So buy a machine that'll run it faster with a bigger, nicer screen that altogether costs you less. And when you're out and about, what you're mostly doing is web browsing or writing or something else. You can do all of that on something like a Chromebook and save yourself a bucket load of cash.
And they do have apps and programs in there to do photo editing.
I haven't used Photoshop in 2 years.
Yeah.
I use other programs
Yeah, there's
instead.
so many others that are just as good and cheaper and will give you the same results.
And excuse me, even Adobe, they've got Photoshop.
You all right there?
Yeah, Photoshop.
Hairball?
Yeah, Photoshop Touch is out for the iPad. I don't know if they have an Android version. I would assume they do. Photoshop Lightroom for tablets, and so you don't need the whole giant $700 Photoshop program on your portable devices. In fact, many people don't even need that on their big device.
Right.
But there are a lot of alternatives on smaller devices. We are seeing in our store more and more people are now buying the desktop and the tablet.
Yep.
So they have big screen, lots of power, and portable.
Yep.
For less than you would pay for a big, powerful laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you absolutely must have a keyboard for when you carry it around, get a Chromebook.
Most tablets have keyboard options or keyboards
Right.
built in.
It depends on how much you like the keyboard.
Yeah.
Never buy anything that you haven't tested the keyboard on.
Mhm.
Well, a desktop, not as important. You can always buy a new keyboard. It's a lot cheaper than buying a new device.
Right.
But in terms of a portable, whether it's a Chromebook or a tablet of some sort, doesn't matter. Play with the keyboard because otherwise you don't know.
Well, we are looking at maybe replacing the laptop I'm using now because it's a 2012 model, getting a little old.
Getting a little old.
For all the streaming, especially the video streaming, audio streaming, all that stuff we're doing on it. So, of course, the one I want to buy is $4,000.
Sure, of course it is.
The one we'll probably will buy is less than half that.
Yeah.
At least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If not more.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's of course part of the issue in general. With the new Chromebooks coming out, they are going to be more expensive if you buy the ones that have touch screens and the foldable screens.
I want the Chromebook Pixel that has the super
Who
high res
doesn't?
and touch screen, and that's $3,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Google is not going to make the Pixel Chromebooks anymore.
Well, they have a Pixel phone now.
They have a Pixel phone,
Mhm.
and they said from the very beginning that the Pixel Chromebook was a reference model, just like the original CR48 Chromebook, which I do have, is a reference model. It was never designed to be something that they were going to make a permanent product.
Mhm.
The idea was that we want to show you what can be done with this device. And now that Chromebooks are so accepted, and so many other people are building them, Google can get out of that business.
Yep.
They don't need to be there. They are going to stick with the phone, and we'll be seeing, like I said, a version 2 of the Pixel phone.
What are they touting that's going to be on the next version?
They don't know yet. I mean, they just said that before the end of the year there will be a Pixel 2 phone.
Okay.
Better camera.
Yeah.
The camera on it now is,
the Pixel camera is the
love it.
best cell phone camera on the market, bar none.
Mhm.
And that's from reviews by photography magazines.
Yeah.
Now it's still not a Leica or a high-end Nikon or whatever.
Yeah, but for
that's not the point.
Yeah, my
Right.
photos, that's fine.
Right. It is the finest cell phone camera on the market today.
Well, the battery life too, is great on it. It charges fast. It uses now the new standard of the C connector.
Right.
Most of your connectors that are on your Android devices are what they call the B. But the C gives it the capabilities to charge a lot faster.
And C's reversible, so there's no fumbling. The first way didn't work, the second way didn't work, but the third way works to get it in.
Exactly. Yeah. Either way, you just plug it in and it charges fast.
Yep.
And like I say, it's very clean. It doesn't have all the bloatware and everything else on there. I had to.
And if you're one of those people who wants Google Fi,
yeah,
then that's the phone for you. Google Fi, for those of you who don't know.
What about Fi and Fo? Are they coming?
Fi, Fo, and FUM.
No, FUM's coming later.
Yeah, FUM's coming later. No FUM for you.
He called ahead.
He called ahead on his Google Fi phone. Google Fi is their cell phone network. Only it mostly runs over Wi-Fi. So if you run, if you're sitting at home or in an office or somewhere like that, you use your Wi-Fi network to make phone calls. If you're out, it switches seamlessly, apparently, between Sprint and I think T-Mobile.
Yeah, my T-Mobile phone does that now.
Yeah.
If I'm on Wi-Fi, it uses it. That way it doesn't run up your minutes.
Yep. The beautiful thing about this is everything is $10. It's $10 to get the service, $10 to add unlimited text and data, $10 per gig of data. And so it ends up being cheaper than most other data plans.
Yeah.
On top of everything else. So it looks pretty cool. I
Well,
know
even that
somebody
guy from
has one.
Verizon right now has been doing the ads for Sprint.
Yeah.
Because all the networks are so close together now that price is what really differentiates. And did you hear what Ajit Pai said? The jerk.
What?
So Ajit Pai is the new chairman of the FCC. He is taking credit for all of the unlimited plans coming to carriers.
Well, good for him.
Even though they started doing that before he took office.
Well, that's of a piece with this administration.
What may be more to his credit, I guess is not quite the right word, is he canceled the investigations into zero rating.
Right.
Because he said we didn't need that and internet should be free. But he didn't understand it. So like T-Mobile had these free video things. So you can get, just for example, you can get Twitch video for free. Well, that sounds good. But you have to pay extra for YouTube video. But they never say that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
a lot of the carriers have this free video. If you're using the right video service, it doesn't count towards your data cap.
Right.
For every other video service, it does. And so what if that had happened when YouTube was being created? And
Right.
YouTube would never exist today. So we want zero. We don't want the carriers to discriminate.
Right.
Even
So
if it
it's
looks
net,
good.
That's what we used to call net neutrality.
Yeah.
And that's been suspended. So
and the FCC has now stopped their investigation into the companies doing this what they were calling zero rating, and we were calling anti-net neutrality because they are giving some services priority and benefit over a different service.
Right. Exactly right. And so that's we're seeing that
so
everywhere.
saying, I canceled that and they gave us unlimited data now. Isn't me good?
Yeah, right.
No, Mr. Pai, no.
No, Mr. Pai, no. Although everybody's doing unlimited data now, so
Right.
that's interesting.
Well, and then the joke there is it's unlimited asterisks.
Yeah, it's
So
unlimited asterisks.
Unlimited asterisks. If you get to a limit, between 22 and 26 gigs, depending on your carrier, they can slow you down to modem speeds.
Right.
They may not, but they can.
But they certainly may. And that is less likely to happen, frankly, to be honest. That is much less likely to happen in Rochester than
Right.
it is in New York City or San Francisco.
New York, San Francisco, the big carriers, when things get congested, your service will slow down. But they didn't stop.
Right. They
Which
didn't
means
stop.
it means
It's
it
still
is unlimited.
Yes, it is unlimited, just not at a speed you can use.
Yeah.
But it is unlimited. And a lot of people are going to it. It is not obviously necessarily cheaper. But it is certainly useful, and a lot of people are doing it. We'll see how that plays out over the next couple of years, but we don't know. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. In the meantime, give us a call, 585-966-5299, 1-800-790-0415, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you, 39 minutes after the hour. Soundbites, member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
What's small, pretty, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the U.S. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Well, get one by making a pledge of support at the $90 10-cent level or above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, call 966-5299 or pledge online at jazz901.org.
Of course, our kids should eat fresh, healthy foods, but there's no supermarket nearby.
I wish we were closer to good health care because of our son's asthma.
And closer to nice homes, decent schools,
But we have none of these resources.
Many variables can shape children's lives, like the zip code where they grow up. Learn how you can help improve your community at HUD.gov/fair housing. Fair housing, shared opportunity in every community. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
I'm a college student and could use advice about my student loan.
I had to leave school, but I still have student loans to pay back.
I graduated and got the help I needed to pay back my loan in full.
We're the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, with member offices nationwide that provide comprehensive financial reviews and student loan counseling. Call 877-406-6322 or visit us online at studentloanhelp.org.
Are you planning a vacation? Take the great savings you receive with your member card with you. Order a travel card to enjoy 2-for-1 benefits while you're away. Visit membercard.com/jazz901 to order travel cards and pay just a small fee to cover shipping and handling. You can also use the Member Card mobile app to take advantage of benefits at your destination. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Become a member today at the $90 10-cent level and above to receive yours.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Greece Central School District and Greece Arcadia Middle School present the musical Crazy for You on stage March 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. and March 5th at 2 p.m. Performances take place in the Greece Arcadia Auditorium located at 130 Island Cottage Road in Greece. Tickets are available at all Wegmans and at the door.
Slap that bass.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Winter is, of course, not over yet, and that is realized this morning with some lake effect snow around. And then as we head through the day, the lake flakes fade to flurries. We're left with some sunshine, but a bitey northwest wind. The high temperature 15 to 20. Tonight's mainly clear, very cold. The low temperature in the single digits south of the thruway. Low and mid-teens elsewhere. Sunshine gives way to increasing clouds on Sunday, not as cold. The wind comes in out of the south, the high in the upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got some clouds out there, 17 degrees out at the airport, and 21 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Joelle Van Buren. Please join me weekday mornings from 6 till 10 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 44 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bites. And we have Joel from Pittsford on the line. What's up, Joel?
Hi, guys. Just calling to get a clarification. I'm sorry if this may have been covered earlier. I can't get to hear you all live until about 1:30 every day. But I was teaching a class this week on Windows 10, and just after I mentioned that Microsoft is going to support Windows 10 for 10 years from the date of its inception, one of my students said she had heard on this show last week someone saying that Microsoft was going to start a subscription fee for Windows 10. I was wondering if you guys had some information that I may have missed.
Oh, it's not a subscription for Windows 10. It's a subscription for the next version of Windows.
Right.
That probably won't have a number, but we'll call it 11.
They're just going to call it
Right.
Windows.
Now, two things. Windows 10 was released in July of 2015. It is true that extended support for Windows 10 will be till 2025, which is 10 years.
Yeah, just like all the other previous versions.
Well, yes, except that extended support means you're paying for it. Mainstream support, the free stuff you get now, ends in 2020, 5 years later. So, yes, they will support it for 10 years, but for those last 5 years, you have to pay. And we're talking about businesses paying thousands and thousands of dollars.
2020 sounds so far away, but it's only 3 years.
It's only 3 years left in that. So, no, Windows will not be supported for the average user for 10 years. That is a simple fact. Windows will be supported for 10 years, yes, but not for you.
I thought extended support meant they would put out critical updates.
They may put out critical updates.
Nothing stated in writing.
If they want to, they absolutely will, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, particularly now that they're talking about going to a subscription service for the next version of Windows.
Yeah.
If you want to update Windows, in fact, if you want to keep running Windows, you keep paying them. If you stop paying them, we don't know the details yet, but
that may apply to the next version of Windows, not to Windows 10.
right, you can keep Windows 10 for as long as you like. It won't be supported anymore, but apparently the people still running Vista don't care.
And the same people running Windows 7.
Yep.
Right.
So they're not getting critical patches. You have to rely on third-party AV companies to release updates, and even those have stopped supporting XP, and many of them don't support 7 anymore.
Right.
Actually, it's interesting. A lot of them don't support Vista, but they still support 7.
Yeah, right.
Everyone hated Vista.
Everybody hated Vista. They'll still say, yeah. So, yes and no. A little knowledge, dangerous thing. So, Windows 10 will be supported for 10 years if you're paying for extended support.
And that's only generally for very large companies.
And if there is something truly egregious, they will put out a general fix for it.
But we've already seen
7 in previous versions.
Yeah. No.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My student must have misunderstood.
Well, everybody hears a little piece of everything, right? Nobody ever hears the whole thing. Right. So,
okay,
yeah.
well,
all
thanks
right.
a lot, guys, and I am a member.
I love to hear that. Thank you.
Okay.
And we have already seen now that Microsoft has put out critical updates for all versions of Windows supported.
Right.
Which means that it probably exists in the previous versions of Windows, but they're not patching it.
Right.
And some of the last couple, I don't remember them offhand. We talked about it on Security Now. Some of the last couple of really horrible Windows updates. In fact, the reason the Windows update this month was late was some horrible
thing that they had to fix. Absolutely.
That they won't fix in Vista and 7 and XP and anything else. And if you're watching the video stream, sorry, we just had an earthquake.
Yeah. An earthquake named
the
Dave.
Earth moved and the camera tipped over.
The Earth moved for Dave.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Ellen from Greece, New York. Hi, Ellen. What's up?
Hi, gentlemen. Really enjoyed listening to your show, even though I know very little about computers. So I have a couple of very basic questions. I'm not interested in doing anything complicated, just the usual things like Facebook, email, Google, games. And I'm looking to get a new computer. Why do you promote Chrome above all the others?
For several reasons. It depends. Well, don't let me end this phone call without talking about games. But there are several reasons we like Chromebooks. One, Chromebooks are inexpensive but powerful. Two, they don't get viruses or malware or any of that stuff. And three, if you do get it stolen or broken, they're very easy to replace because everything lives in the cloud. Now, with a Chromebook, you can do Facebook, you can do email, you can do Google. The sticker is games. We've already talked to Sherry earlier today about Chromebooks and Pogo games, and the fact that for a lot of Pogo games, they are in a language called Flash, and Flash does not work on Chromebooks because Flash is so full of security holes.
Okay. Well, the games are something optional for me anyway. I don't do it. How much do they cost?
It depends. You can get them for as low as $189 and as much as $500, depending on what you get and where you get it and when you get it. Right now, if you were interested in spending a little more money, you would be able to wait for about a month and a half, and they are coming out with new versions of Chromebooks that will also run Android applications, so Android apps, right? The stuff you get on your phone. So it will run those. They will have touch screens, and those screens will fold over backwards so the thing becomes a tablet. Now, as you can well imagine, those are at the higher end of the price range, whereas if you just want a laptop that opens up and you type and you do all that stuff, that's at the lower end of the range.
And what did you say that range was?
Anywhere from about $189 to about $500.
And when you talked about cheap laptops before, you weren't talking about Chromebooks.
No, I was talking about there is a company that's advertised, it isn't for sale yet, a $200 Windows 10 laptop. I cannot imagine. I've asked them to send me one. I don't think they will, but I've asked them to send me one. I can't imagine it's going to be particularly useful. You really need a lot of RAM and a fast processor and a fast hard drive in order to run Windows 10 satisfactorily. And frankly, that's not going to be something you can buy for $200.
Okay. And where again did you say I could get Chromebooks?
Most of the big box stores have that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can go to any of the big stores right now.
You can also go to google.com/Chromebooks.
But if you want to do a test drive on one, like I say, go to a Best Buy or Staples or one of those places and test it out.
Okay, last question.
Mm-hmm.
When I read AARP magazine, what do you think of the WOW computers they always advertise?
Well, see, they're again, they're almost
very expensive.
Yeah, and
wow. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what's in them, and without seeing the particulars, who knows
What they're advertising is that they're very, very easy to use for us seniors.
Right. And often what that means is they've put their own front end on it.
Mm-hmm.
And made a little bit of a different front end, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I have not played with one.
Mm-hmm.
But they have big screens and they're touch screens and et cetera. So if you're willing to live within their universe.
Okay.
Right? Whatever their video chat is, whatever their email is, whatever their calendar is.
Okay.
If you're willing to live within that universe, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
So it's not running Windows, it's not running Chrome, it's not running Mac.
Right, it's running its own thing. So
although it looks exactly like an iMac.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Well,
Yeah.
they all do nowadays. So yeah.
Well, when we called to inquire, the price on it, they didn't have different models, but the price on it was over $1,000, and that was supposedly with a couple $100 break.
Yeah, well, of course, it's a very large screen, and it's a touch screen.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, those are not cheap.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that would be the thing I would buy. If it were about half that price, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But at that price, I'm not entirely
You can get a few
certain.
good Chromebooks for that price.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
It kind of looks like the font on screen is bigger than average. Typically, seniors.
Yeah, for seniors,
lower
to be able to large.
Right. I mean, I love the idea.
Yeah, it's like Web TV used to be. It was supposed to be a cheap little box that you got web pages on your TV.
Right.
That didn't work out very well.
Right. And a lot of that, of course, as we said, has to do with the execution, not the concept. Right?
Oh, it uses Tiny Core Linux underneath.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea, actually.
So you could make your own from an old hardware you already have.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that's sort of what Cloud Ready from Neverware does.
Right.
It turns your old computer into a new Linux box with modern operating system and modern software on it.
Right.
And that music is back.
The music is back. Apparently, we are done for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray. I want to apologize to all of those of you to whom we did not get. Really call earlier and more often next week. But we are done for this week. And
Somebody did that. Somebody called before the show started. They
I know,
listened to
that's
you.
a very
They called
good
early,
idea.
early and
Right.
often. Yeah.
Don't go away. George is coming to play the best German music you'll hear all week. Michael's here to keep him on the straight and narrow. And we'll be back next week with a whole lot more of the longest running computer show in the known and unknown universe. For Dave Enright, for Steve Ray, I'm Nick Francesco. And we will see you in just 166 hours on Soundbites on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Here are the Jazz 90.1 Club Calendar highlights for Saturday, March